Good evening, guys. Welcome to the channel. I'm Ryan. This is Indiana Weather Online. We're going to do a breakdown of the upcoming week of weather here in the state of Indiana, starting with tomorrow's severe risk, as well as focusing in on what to expect for that Friday severe risk as well. Let's go ahead and dive into things here. If you're new here, feel free to hit the like button and also subscribe. We're building this YouTube channel up from the ground, so feel free to follow along for video-style forecast updates. So tomorrow, Monday, April 14th, we do have a severe risk in place here from the government agency known as the Storm Prediction Center, or SPC for short. On this map here, you're going to notice the very far south and east corner of Indiana is in a dark green area. That dark green area is known as a marginal risk for severe weather. It is the lowest risk that is issued by the SPC, so it's a low-end risk. Over into Ohio, and a very small sliver of Indiana is in a level 2 slight risk there in yellow. So overall risk is highest off to our east into Ohio and also to our south in Kentucky. But we do have a little bit of a risk there in the state. Let's talk about that here in just a second. But in terms of the hazards, the SPC also puts out hazard maps. So this is your wind risk here. We're going to see the exact same areas there in this red-brown color, indicating the probability of severe wind is between 5 and 14% within a 25-mile radius. As well as hail, it's a little bit bumped to the east, but there's also a 5 to a 14% chance of severe hail for that southeast corner of Indiana. And as far as the tornadic risk is concerned, we do not have a risk in the state. Wind shear and instability does not look to overlap very well, so tornado risk is highest off to our east there, West Virginia, Ohio, and parts of Kentucky as well. So let's go ahead and break it down here and talk about what we think is going to happen, starting with the future forecast model. This is what we call the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. Excuse me. It is a short-term forecast computer model showing us what the radar may look like throughout the next 48 hours. So going into tonight, we're going to have a couple rain showers, perhaps further north toward the Kokomo and North area, Logansport, Gary, Fort Wayne area. No big deal. We're going to go overnight here. Going to be dry. Into Monday, though, we have a cold front swinging through from west to east across Illinois into the state of Indiana. By the time we get to the afternoon on Monday into the evening hours, we're going to see showers and perhaps a few thunderstorms develop somewhere along this cold front here. But the thing that we're watching closely is models do not fire up storms in the state of Indiana. At least this one doesn't. This is one of the most trusted models here, so we put some faith in it that we could be onto something here and said, hey, we have a risk, but overall risk is not very high because, hey, models aren't showing anything. This is at 5 p.m. Eastern time here. Let's go to 6 p.m. We're going to start seeing those storms pop up to our south and to our east here along Kentucky into the southern Ohio region here. We could still have some showers over here across the state, but those will not be strong or severe. The main risk is going to be off to our east and to our south here. So going back to that map and putting it all together, the risk is much higher. If I draw on the map here, the risk is much higher in the yellow zone here, roughly from about just about east and south of Corydon over to about Youngstown, Ohio. This general area, I would suggest, has the best potential for severe weather tomorrow. I do not think there is much risk here in the state of Indiana, but regardless, if storms do develop around that 3 p.m. Eastern to about that 7 p.m. Eastern time frame, they would have a shot at becoming severe, with damaging winds and large hail being a main concern here for these dark green areas. But again, the confidence and the overall consensus is that the models are putting the storms off into Kentucky and Ohio, leaving us pretty much dry throughout the day. Going back to another forecast model here, this is called the NAM3. Similar forecast model, we do have storms that do develop here across that southeast zone. So this model does show, hey, we have some storms here, but it is tied very extreme south in the east part of Indiana. So a very limited impact in terms of population affected by this threat. So overall concern tomorrow is not very high. All right. So going and switching gears here to the future here, we do have a risk in place for Friday already from the SPC. Already a slight risk in place here for anywhere pretty much north of Indianapolis over down toward Vincent's, points northward there in yellow. In the white zone, that is no risk currently, but do keep in mind we do have a marginal risk kind of placed in there. We get to that day 3, day 2 time frame, we'll have a marginal risk that gets placed in there somewhere. So perhaps the entire state seeing a severe risk for Friday, but for right now, confidence is higher in the yellow zone. Why is that? All right, let's go ahead and talk about that just for a second. So we're going to use this model here. It's a long-term model called the European. You probably heard the term from your local forecaster, meteorologist. This is called the European model. It's typically accurate at mid to long range. This is about 5 or so days away. This is called mid-range. We're going to see here throughout the overnight period into Monday, there's our instability for tomorrow, according to the European model. Just kind of pause it right there. Notice how the higher amounts are still off to our south into Ohio there for tomorrow. So that kind of aids in some confidence that, hey, we're not going to have much to work with for storm fuel tomorrow as well in the state of Indiana. But I want to fast forward here. Tuesday, no concern Tuesday. Wednesday, no concern Thursday. Here on Thursday evening, we're starting to see the increase of that moisture and instability start to kind of push itself into the area. But the main concern here is Friday. We're going to pause it right here at Friday, 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Notice we have some yellows showing up here. This is your most unstable instability here. Notice we're over 1,000 joules. It's measured in joules for the state of Indiana over into Illinois. That means that the atmosphere is pretty unstable to support a storm threat for the Friday evening time frame. So that's kind of what's going to drive it, so to speak. It's kind of fuel it, so to speak, for that severe threat here. It does appear to be highest off to our west and south, but Indiana firmly with an unstable environment to support the chance likely for some severe weather come Friday. But overall time frames and hazards and exact areas, we're not going to know that until Wednesday. We have to get a range of short-term models. That is because we do have a network of weather balloons here in the U.S. that do sample data. Once that data gets sampled and put into models, it becomes much more accurate. So that happens around the 48 to 72 hour period before an event. That puts us right around Wednesday for exact details. We're not going to know the specifics until then, but the overall large scale pattern here would be supportive for severe weather come Friday. So keep that in mind. Overall concern is there for Friday, but overall exact details are not there. So kind of put in the back of your mind to say, hey, keep an eye on Friday. Don't stress about it too much, but just, hey, we could have something happen on Friday. We're watching it. We'll update you guys accordingly. All right. Outside of that, I will show you guys the next 15 days worth of temperatures, and we're going to wrap it up here for our first forecast video here on IWO. We're going to go ahead and move into the Indianapolis area. I'm currently in Michigan. Let's go ahead and go down here to Indianapolis. Here's your temperature forecast. I know it's kind of cut off here. I apologize about that. But we'll kind of walk you guys through it here. The lowest temperature on this graph is going to be right here on Wednesday, 56 degrees. That is the lowest high temperature I see. The next highest was going to be today's, which is 60, then 61 here for Tuesday. But overall, much warmer pattern here is in store here, even close to 70 degrees potentially here for the next week time frame. This is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of the month. Overall warm pattern is here to stay. I'm looking forward to it. I am ready for warm air here for the entire state of Indiana. All right, that is your forecast today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll do a lot more of these in the future. And if you guys got feedback, let me know in the comments. Always willing to accommodate, learn, and take feedback from you guys, our followers and supporters. So feel free in the comment section to drop that if you have any. I'm Ryan. This has been a forecast update with IWO. I'll catch you guys sometime during the midweek for an update on that Friday potential severe threat here for the state of Indiana. Enjoy the week, guys.